She's called liberalism a disease. She's used the R word to refer to Governor Gavin Newsom. And that's just a few of the many insults. Kmele Foster is with us at the table. It seems like there is a energy matching energy kind of thing going on here. And you can definitely make the case that we are headed to rock bottom. We are going low and lower. But at the same time, for Republicans to be clutching their pearls in this moment, does that seem, fair?
Yeah, the pearl clutching certainly doesn't fly. And I don't know who to blame for where things started or who's, responsible for what. I will say that all of the ad hominem and the profanity, look, I do a podcast. We work blue from time to time. I've occasionally used the naughty word. I like Drake's new album. There's a lot of battle rapping going on there. But I'm not sure that I want that emanating from the White House. I don't know that our national politicians engaging in this kind of conduct is generally a good thing. And it seems to me it's precisely the sort of circus that you would expect when neither party has particularly good ideas. Like having this idiotic argument, calling the candidate transsexual, insulting one another with the F word and the S word. Like this seems like a scene where someone is kind of getting into an altercation on the street and the highway, like road rage. This is clearly theater. These are people who are behaving as if they're the roast masters, who are responding quickly with a quip and using the F word in these ways that seem obviously performative. I don't know that anyone should be impressed with any of this. And yes, rising above it, talking about policy and talking about ideas in response to people who are insisting on engaging in theater. I think that is a better way to go. And quite frankly, I think the Democrats have lost the plot by engaging in this nonsense along with the White House.
This is not the...
I don't know about like gladiatorial combat, like at the White House. It just seems a little too on the nose.
That is the vibe that we get here from this
uncertain economy. Look, I think Joe Rogan is an interesting person to pay attention to, but I think the even more interesting person to pay attention to is Dana White, who himself has suggested the president probably regrets agreeing to this, and maybe he does at this point. You've got a war going on. You've got all kinds of people who are really uncertain about what's going to happen in the economy. And you're doing this grand display at the White House.
Yeah, I mean,
it's beyond unseemly, but I also think it is a troll. This is a wag the dog kind of situation here. They are interested in getting. They want Democrats talking about this and outraged.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you if he didn't put his face in a passport.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it isn't ridiculous.
That actually happened.
You can do something about this after the fact, but it's certainly an opportunity to say, look, we're not even going to engage on this. Here are my specific policy recommendations. I don't know why Democrats continue to get animated about this stuff. We're going to do everything possible to stop this. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to devote any time to it whatsoever.
Let Jesse have a quick last word because we do have to go. Go ahead, Jesse.
I have spent a fair amount of money on some tickets before, including basketball tickets, but I'm like courtside at $2,500. To be in the nosebleeds for that amount, not going to work for me. I would pay that much to go to like Michael Jordan's flight club camp where you get to play one-on-one with him. $2,500 to get in to do that, or $3,500.
To do it,
I would
to watch it.
I want to do it.
You would actually go up one-on-one.
Yeah, I mean he would cook me, but that is a great story that you can tell.
All right.